Hi there, it's Dan here from Flexxable, and today I'm going to talk to you about the different ways you can target audiences in 2023. Let's dive in. Okay, so what has happened in 2022 with targeting and what does it look like throughout this year? We're heading into December now. Believe it or not, the year's almost over, and we've learnt a lot this year about what has happened. So the first thing is that the Facebook conversion API has been, it's been okay optimizing at campaign level, but it's been terrible at optimizing at ad set level and ad level, which has meant that whenever you're trying to optimize stuff inside a campaign, you just can't do it with any confidence, which in turn has really affected campaign performance. And it's meant that a lot of lead gens or anyone kind of running off the Facebook pixels have really struggled. One way that we've combated that is we've started using Facebook lead forms a lot more, just because the conversion tracking and everything's spot on. And here's what I think about all of the different targeting options that are available to you in 2023. The first one is surprisingly Facebook lead forms, right? Even though it's not really a kind of targeting option, it is something that you should really consider doing, especially if you have the ability in your team to create some sort of lead magnet opt-in to help your audience that you're advertising to, okay? Because what you can do then, there's just a number of awesome things that can happen, right? First of all, you can get someone that might not have been interested before to go through a lead form funnel and come out the other side, which means that you've got a lead and someone that you can move further down the line and talk to and potentially turn into a full lead that you can sell on or convert or whatever that is. The second thing with Facebook lead forms is that you can target opens of the lead form and clicks as well, and you can create lookalike audiences and custom audiences off the back of these small kind of micro conversions within the lead form format. And this is 100% accurate, right? Which means that you can create very good audiences that have exactly the type of people you want in them, which is really good. The next really great way to target audiences on Facebook is by using lookalike audiences, but don't be fooled, okay? It's not like it used to be. All right, up until iOS 14, lookalike audiences from the traditional pixel way of generating them works so well for us. And 9 out of 10 of all of our most successful targeting options and ad sets that we were running in campaigns were predominantly lookalike based audiences. Although there was some broad audiences as well. And when you've got a really kind of dialed in offer, broad works great. But lookalikes were so amazing, right? But what we found since iOS 14, as I just said, is that they've really, dropped off and they don't work as well. But we have found a solution for that. And I mentioned this before with the lead ads, and you can actually create lookalike audiences off the back of lead form opens and lead form submits. All right, if you have got that ability to give away something on the front end, like a lead magnet, whatever that might be, right? They just work great. But what I would recommend is that you would get at least 500 lead form submits before you create a lookalike audience, or about 1,000 lead form opens to create a lookalike audience off the back of. And once you have them, they're very accurate data and they work exceptionally well. And if you're one of these people that's worried about kind of ad fatigue and rising cost per leads in ad sets, here's a quick tip for you. Overlay these new lookalikes you've created off the lead forms and overlay them with interest-based targeting. And when you double whammy those together, what we've seen is incredibly cheap cost per leads and very scalable ad sets that don't fatigue too badly, and they require very little maintenance. It's a really good tip that you should give a go. The second one is interest-based audiences. And I predicted around this time last year that because of everything that was going on with iOS, interest-based audiences would make a massive comeback. And that is completely true. They've been fundamental this year. And I think moving forward, they're going to be just as important, right? Because the kind of data that people have based on what Facebook are tracking inside the platform, which, on WhatsApp or whatever that is, they can still get a relatively good idea of what people are interested in, which means that the interest audiences are still working very well and they have the right groups of people in there. And interest-based audiences, if you don't have the luxury of lookalikes or custom audiences or anything like that, are a really good way to start a campaign especially if you want to narrow an audience size from and get someone that's kind of more likely to convert inside your funnel. It sounds obvious, but it's probably the best way for you to start if you want to kick off a new campaign. When you're starting out on a relatively slow budget, I would recommend using quite narrow audiences as I just recommended. But I would have sometimes grouping those audiences together, those different interest audiences, to be able to bring the size of the audience down on a smaller budget until you get stuff dialed in, and then you can start when you've figured out your winning creative, your winning hook, your winning, whatever that is, angle into the market. Then you can start going a bit broad with what you've got dialed in, but try and go narrow to begin with. What I would say, just to add to that, is that if you're looking to kind of get bigger and broader with your campaigns, you want to start a little bit slower and get your stuff dialed in with narrow audiences. And when you hit 500 conversions inside your campaign, it's time to then start ramping and you can push a little bit harder. Okay, so now moving on to your custom audiences, all right? And I've kind of touched on this before, but if you are really trying to scale with the way that you're generating your leads, you want a really good kind of base level audience to start with, okay? Which is why I'm putting some emphasis inside this video on making sure you get good data, and that could be via a custom email list, or it could be, as I said, the lead form opens or a lead form submit, because these form the cornerstone of all of your lookalikes and retargeting audiences and things like that. You want to make sure that you get them right before you start playing with them, if that makes sense. If you are using the Facebook conversion API, I would recommend setting up micro conversions, right? So if you're running an advertorial funnel, you've got a click, okay? You have got a landing page view, you've got 10 seconds on the landing page. You've got all of these kind of micro conversions throughout your funnel, which you're going to have an easy time kind of creating custom audiences off each of these, which will allow you to just kind of test a little bit more with. I also often talk about using tools like LeadsHook, where you can start measuring what people's attributes are throughout a LeadsHook quiz, where you can find out, for example, how much money they owe, or whether they want to buy a certain type of car, or whether or not they have a certain age, or whatever that is, right? And if you can use Zaps, you can pull all of that data from your CRM back into Facebook, which means you can create your custom audiences based off the people that kind of come into your CRM or whatever that is. There's lots of cool stuff you can do if you are dealing with a lot of volume. Also, if you are running certain types of Facebook ads, which could be video ads or lead ads and stuff like that, which I've spoken about, right? You can create custom audiences off in-app type experiences, okay? Always try and do that if possible, because we know that you're going to get very accurate custom audiences off the back of that. I hope you've enjoyed this video today on what's happening with Facebook audiences in 2023. If you have any questions at all, or you need us to investigate something else for you, then please do comment in the comment box below. If you did like this video, please give us a like so we know to create more videos like this. And finally, please subscribe to our channel so you'll be the first to know whenever some new videos from Flexxable come out. I'll speak to you soon.